Yo, this is Supermax Hernandez, and you're watching Countdown City WrestleCast. Boom! I got it.
What's up, heels and babyfaces? Welcome to another episode of the Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I'm joined this week by Tommy.
Hello.
And, of course, we got Mike.
Mike, I love wrestling, and love always wins. Boom. But my picks don't always win, so that's
Yeah.
It's been a tough picking this year. We'll talk about that. Twitter, of course, if you're new to the show, at @CCG_WrestleCast. Subscribe here on the Countdown City Geeks YouTube channel. Today, we're going to quickly recap Impact Sacrifice, talk about a lot of the big news coming out with some interesting title changes, which are pretty rare for Impact Plus events. And then we are going to preview WWE FastLane / Roadblock / why is this the first pay-per-view on Peacock / whatever. I mean, whatever you want to call it. This has just been a weird build-up to a pay-per-view. Discuss all that. So.
We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah. Real quickly, though, happy Steve Austin Day. March 16th when we're recording this. Got my Dad 316 shirt on, which Dad 316 says because I said so.
Very nice.
Guys, real quickly, favorite Steve Austin moment?
There's
so many, I know.
There are a moment. I'm gonna pick his the no holds bar match he had with Dude Love, where Vince was the referee, where he ducked in time to let Vince get hit, and then after he got the stunner on Dude Love, he made Vince count 3, even though Vince was unconscious. That's one of my favorite moments because it was the timekeeper actually rang the bell. So
Okay, I think mine might be the beer truck because to this day, I have no idea why a beer truck has a hose attached with beer. I never understood that, and I still don't. Is there a keg in there? Why was there a hose? It was fun at the time, and there's swimming in beer, but I'm like, why does this truck have a hose, to shoot beer out? It's not going to put out a fire.
Yeah, because why not, right?
But,
I guess.
But until you said it, I don't think I questioned it until just now. Because now I'm wait, why was that there?
Hey, while you're pondering that, and before we share any more moments, fun side note, I don't know if it's fun or not. Remember the guy back in the 80s who used to wear the multicolored wig and do John 316 at sporting events?
Yeah.
Apparently he's in jail on 3 lifetime sentences for kidnapping and other stuff. So, fun fact. Unless what I heard today was wrong, that's what I saw.
Whoa! Well, okay.
I mean, if that's true, then I guess Austin 316 shirts don't look so bad, do they? Because I remember when they came out, everyone's like, "Oh, that's sacrilegious" and all this stuff like that. So, no, it's wrestling. That's just the way. Yeah.
But to be fair, sometimes you can't tell the difference between wrestling and sacrilegious. They kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Well, when Vince McMahon's involved, yes.
Yeah, that's true.
There are so many great memories. I remember a build-up to one Royal Rumble where he would just show up every week and then stun everybody in the ring. Who can forget the whole passing out against Bret Hart? But I will never forget Bang 316. The day after he got fired for not declaring a winner. And he showed up there all ready to go, and they're hiding Vince out, or basically Vince's cronies just bail on him because Steve Austin showed that he had a gun and wheeled him out to the middle of the ring, and then pulled the trigger flag, Bang 316, and Vince peed his pants. Even you could tell it was a prop, but it was still entertaining.
Yeah, that moment is actually pretty funny. So yeah.
Although I'm going to be honest, being Vince McMahon, I 100% believe he would pee his pants on purpose to be real.
Yeah.
I would do.
God dang it, I'm going to pee my pants for real. Got to make it authentic.
So, yeah.
Gotta look real, damn it.
He'll do whatever he has to do, right? So.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah, feel free to share your favorite Steve Austin moments. There's been a lifetime of them. There's been so many great memories of the Attitude Era, and Austin was the guy that came around at just the right time. So, right place, right time for that. So, share your favorite one, WWE or otherwise. Even if you're an old school ECW fan and you want to talk about him making fun of Hulk Hogan, those are always great too. So,
or if you like the Hollywood Blondes from WCW, you
yeah,
know, the precursor to the Varsity Blondes in the AEW with Coleman's son. So heck yeah.
Yep.
Or the Dangerous Alliance with Paulie Dangerously back in the day.
Yep.
Part of that too.
So much of his career, people just forget, you know. So
yeah.
We're gonna quickly right now talk Impact Sacrifice. Now, of the three of us here, Tommy's the only one that got some time to watch it. Between the kids being crazy, between work being nuts, and the time change, and the fact that T and I were very busy watching a long 4-hour movie on Sunday.
Watch Sacrifice.
Yeah, I am planning to watch Sacrifice. But there's something to note here. When I didn't get to see it, but I was reading the results and seeing the match results, and I was wowed by them. Now, two in particular, of course, are the X Division title change and the World Tag Team Championship title change. So, Tommy, I want to get, first of all, your initial reaction. I know you're a big Ace Austin fan. So what is your reaction to Ace Austin beating TJP for the X Division title?
The interesting part was like if I remember correctly, for the most part, he kind of beat him clean.
Mm-hmm.
Like Madman Fulton was just kind of out there as a coach almost. So it was like it makes me think that they're going to start pushing him again, like it looked like they were kind of doing before, but like I think they were going to kind of pushing him before, but then like I don't know, like guys like Trey Miguel and Eric Young and Joe Doran came back, so they started like reshuffling themselves, and so I don't know. This maybe if they do Destination X, if he holds it that long, I fully see him using option C of cashing it in and getting a world title shot. But yeah, super excited. You know, I think he's a great heel. He'd be a great foil for like Rich Swann to like be the ultimate like. I wouldn't say coward champion because I think he would actually wrestle the matches, but like he'd be the best heel champion in my opinion. I'd absolutely book him as a heel champion for sure.
Yeah, the whole steal your wife thing is just always hilarious to me. Like really, this guy, that's his gimmick, but it works, right? And then I know you're happy with Finjuice winning. I mean, New Japan team comes in, promoted as a New Japan team, and shocks the world, beats the Good Brothers. You know.
I just call that poetic justice, because okay, look, if you go back a few years, you see David Finlay, you see Juice Robinson in the New Japan Young Lion tracksuits out walking next to Tanahashi for all his matches. You see them getting thrown around by Suzuki because Suzuki's pastime. I think, you know what? When Suzuki retires, I firmly believe he'll just show up in New Japan once a month just to punch young boys and just leave it like they were like, oh, that's Suzuki for you, which could also be a sitcom. Anyway,
who needs their dues paid? Let me take care of that.
Yeah. You have what kind of problem with young boy? I'll be right there. But it's cool to see them have. It's cool, of course, to have this. The forbidden door finally open, and have Impact finally mend those bridges. After Dixie Carter, Vince Russo, Hulk Hogan, and Eric Bischoff set them all on fire and then bombed them. So it's nice to see that Scott D'Amore and Don Callis had to, with duct tape and silly string, put them back together. But hey, what do you know? It worked. So
whether you got to MacGyver it or not, it works, right?
Yeah. Whatever phone call was made apparently was the right one. So it's cool. I mean, and plus, I mean, come on, like beating the Good Brothers. There's something about just doing that. That's just a feather in your cap. Like the match was cool. I don't know if you guys want me to spoil how it ended because it was a pretty cool ending. It was just the old school Doomsday device, and I loved it. It was just cool to see it. Like I love these tag teams like them, like FTR, who are just paying respect to the original tag teams, and to see an old school Doomsday device was really cool. So.
Nice.
Yeah. Do you think Finjuice is going to take these titles with him to like New Japan of America, show up on Friday nights or something? Or You know,
I don't see why they wouldn't. And the reason why I said I would say I don't know, and I would keep saying I don't know. It had not been for the fact that Kenta jumped Jon Moxley before their U.S. title match and beat him down with the briefcase about 2 months ago. After that, I see no reason why they can't. Because I think they're both eliminated now. They were actually in the New Japan Cup, at least Juice Robinson was, but I think he got eliminated. So I think they're still booked for the tour, opening tag matches. So I don't see why they can't have the belts with them when they're on screen, or at least, if nothing else, the New Japan commentators will mention that they won the belts. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. And as far as picks, we only picked the championship matches. That's what was said when we were recording the show. Mike, 1-4.
I had a good week coming off of Revolution. I was 6-1, so just to kind of balance it out, Wrestling Gods decided to go 1-4, and I said earlier before we started, I should have just went ahead and picked ODB to take the clean opposite sweep.
1-4. I went 2-3. Tommy went 3-2. Now, one, I guess, somewhat surprising result to me, and one that's an interesting question to talk about, is the fact that Moose lost to Rich Swann. Swann got the win, unified the Impact and the TNA World Championships. So as it's set right now, it's Swann versus Kenny Omega at Rebellion.
Yeah.
But we don't even know if Kenny Omega's still going to have the title by then. They're already teasing something where between Omega and Christian Cage, which could very possibly happen before the end of April.
And when I read from their new show Dark Elevation, something about Matt Sydal, if he can beat him on Dynamite tomorrow, then he gets a title shot as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Christian Cage would be an interesting one, though. He's already an Impact Hall of Famer. The music he's using is pretty much his old TNA music.
Yeah.
And he's pretty much a legend in that company. So for him to be potentially,
Sorry, the Evanescence song that his song is based off of.
Going Under.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it, and it's driving me crazy now.
Going Under.
Yes. I didn't hear you.
That's going to sound great on the recording.
Yes, you could say the show is going under.
Yeah, but I think it would be crazy if Cage were to beat Omega and then show up at Rebellion representing AEW, trying to take down the champion of the company he's a Hall of Famer at. So that would make for a very interesting story. Yeah.
Plus, on top of that, speaking of Omega, if you watched Dynamite last week, he's also kind of getting into it with. I mean, I know it's because he's friends with Moxley, but he got into it with Kingston too.
Right. Yeah.
So he's kind of. I don't know if that's part of the storyline where he's going to start getting to too many feuds for him to, to be able to handle, and eventually one of them gets to him, or what. But it'd be interesting to see.
Just making a lot of enemies, basically.
Yeah. I did like the part of the promo where they were he said to Kingston's you only get one chance, you're surrounded, so you only get one shot, so you better swing it. And Kingston just shrugged his shoulders, okay, and he punched Kenny in the face. And
then also in that segment, words I'm not going to repeat them, but words you never thought would be said on TNT or TV in general live.
Yeah,
when they decided to make fun of the way Kingston. Yeah, that was something. Yeah, it was.
You said it last week. It would take just one promo with Moxley and Kingston to cover that entire pyro mishap, and they nailed it. You know
what? I gotta admit about that episode of Dynamite, it really corrected course almost immediately. I think they kind of steered into the curve of that didn't work, so let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, you've got those kind of talkers, and then Don Callis too. On his part, maybe we did it on purpose to make fun of Moxley and to mess with him. It was kind of, and I'm fine with that. It was fun the way they did it. The only thing you couldn't really answer was the announcers, but I mean it's their job, and they thought they were supposed to play it off like it was a huge thing. So
the show goes on. So.
Yeah, sure. Like I said before, it's just like when that time the Hell in a Cell ended with a double count out or whatever, which is dumb.
Yes.
It's not gonna.
Yes.
That's not gonna, like. It's like I told everybody. That's not gonna close WWE tomorrow, guys. I mean, like even a year of bad mistakes, WCW was still going. WWE is probably 10 times the force that they were then.
Yeah.
One mistake does not sink a company, guys. So,
No, but I'm pretty sure it'll be a long time before they explore doing another exploding barbed wire match.
I think that's for the best.
Yeah.
Or you never know. They're like, you know what? We're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it again. Yeah, we'll show you.
They should. You know, they should do it at the Hardy compound. I guarantee you, Matt will get it right.
Without giving a rating, Tommy, just real quick, thumbs up or thumbs down. Sacrifice, is it worth to watch? To those that have not seen it yet, thumbs up. Okay.
It's a thumbs up.
Yeah.
I think there are some matches that kind of drag, which to be fair, happens. It doesn't reflect the whole show. The whole show is kind of, I think, important to the future of Impact as it stands as far as like champions and everything. With Rich Swann kind of cementing himself as the single world champion of the promotion, guys like Ace Austin, kind of like this new breed of X Division star. And the reason I say that is because like TJP, I mean, if you know his career, I mean, my God, what hasn't he done? So yeah. He doesn't. Yeah. So, but Ace Austin, Fire and Flava are still rather impressive. They now can add "we have beaten Jazz" on our resume. So there's something wrong. That's pretty cool. So. And of course the Finn Juice thing, which is like, again, this whole wrestling kind of, I don't know, triune, you could say, New Japan, AEW, and Impact kind of doing this thing. If they can somehow work out a deal with ROH too, that would be great, because as far as I know, that door hasn't closed yet either, because, some of the ROH guys were at the the Super J Cup. So, as far as I know, that door isn't fully closed either. They just, haven't been able to do anything. So,
Yeah, who's to say they're not already discussing that, right? That would be in the works.
Yeah, and they probably might be because New Japan, because ROH is going to have their anniversary show finally next week, I think.
Okay.
So yeah,
cool. Well, that's Sacrifice. Go check it out if you can. You can watch it on Impact Plus, see it on demand. See all the crazy old promos, including the Scott Steiner match promo for Sacrifice. It's so closely tied to that pay-per-view legacy. So, all right. And for now, we're going to talk about WWE FastLane. We're going to preview the 6 matches that have been announced so far. And this is the last stop on the road to WrestleMania. We all remember when this pay-per-view first came about. It was just quickly announced and kind of thrown in there. And you're just wondering why. And
they really...
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, if they really want to be FastLane, every match, 5-minute time limit. Boom.
Be great.
Is it bad?
So.
Yeah, for real. Is it bad of me to say I just kind of don't care? Like, it's like, why is this even happening? Just save these matches till Mania. Like,
that's
Biggie and Apollo Crews, like yeah.
And the fact that it's the first show on Peacock, obviously they're making this like a dry run before Mania, and then of course they announced another NXT show. We'll get to that, but this is the last pay-per-view on WWE Network because it's transition to Peacock, and I think they're trying to just kind of using this to be the guinea pig. They're not even really heavily promoting it though. That's the interesting part to me. You might see ads everywhere usually, like on regular TV, but not so much.
Oh my God. I just realized now that they're on Peacock, if like Sasha and Bianca, for instance, win their tag team title match, I just want the Michael Scott to come up. No, God, no. just use all a bunch of sound bites. You're on Peacock now, go for it. Or, people, that famous TikTok, don't be suspicious. That's from the last episode of Parks and Rec. That's on there too. Use it. Yeah. Yeah.
And just with this whole pay-per-view, it's like, okay, I think this is where I have a lot of respect for AEW and what they do. Now, don't get me wrong, I get why WWE does this, but AEW, they have those super special episodes of Dynamite, winter, like the Winter is Coming one, or what they have this one coming up, the St. Patrick's Day Slam or whatever.
Slam, something like that.
Yeah. It's like just do that. Why is there a whole pay-per-view about this? It's essentially, first of all, it's matches we've seen before. Let's just start with the obvious, and well, except for one, technically, and it's like what. And this goes back to what we said last time. We heard Vince was mad that everyone's talking about WrestleMania already. Well, dude, you're not talking about FastLane. What else are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like most everyone forgot it was even happening because you didn't even promote it right. So it's like, oh man, I just don't get the point of this one. This is the one here. This one because the camera is like we were talking about Great Balls of Fire, which to this day I still can't believe is a pay-per-view name that we have to reference.
But it did give us Joe and Lesnar, so
it did.
It also gave us one of my favorite videos on YouTube of this guy from England when he was talking about the name of it, and he couldn't stop laughing for the first 2 to 3 minutes of the video. That's one of my favorite because like the unadulterated joy of that man trying to he couldn't even say it at first, and when he did finally say it, he fell out of his chair. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, 6 matches on the card. We'll kind of go through, make our predictions, and I don't anticipate this should take too long. First one we got listed: Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. Now, Mike, you mentioned having seen Raw yesterday. It already looks like they've announced Drew McIntyre versus Lashley at Mania.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah. So they basically started Raw, and Lashley was set to face Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
McIntyre was set to face Miz, and they're just like, it's official for WrestleMania, Lashley McIntyre, and you're like, what are the purpose of all these other matches?
Yeah, wouldn't this be like a number 1 contender match or something?
Kind of makes me wonder about this match coming up. Shenanigans possible, triple threats maybe.
Well, here's my question: are they gonna do it kind of like they did that time with Austin and Triple H before WrestleMania 17? They had the 3 Stages of Hell match. Triple H actually won that, but it didn't change the main event at Mania because Stone Cold still won the Rumble. But they were just trying to have that kind of blow off to their feud. So are they going to just do something similar? Could this just be like they're just trying to get it out of their system so we can focus on Mania?
And yeah, I mean, because Sheamus lost to McIntyre the first match on Raw, which was a great match, beat the hell out of each other. Then the next week they fight again, and they go to a double count out or a no contest because they hit each other with steel steps. And then you have Lashley and Sheamus, and Lashley beats Sheamus. So, I mean, Sheamus is putting on great matches. I mean, I'm not going to lie. He's been beating the heck out of each other with McIntyre and Lashley, but he keeps losing.
Yeah.
So I'm almost overthinking this now because I'm like, surely it's not as simple as they're just going to have him lose again just because. I don't know.
No, I think they're going to go with McIntyre, so I am picking McIntyre. I think, especially this being the last pay-per-view going into Mania, you need a strong showing from him.
I agree with you, but I don't trust WWE on anything.
Yeah, and I understand that.
Fair.
So, that being said, are you guys going to join me going McIntyre, or are you guys thinking Sheamus?
I'll say McIntyre. You know.
Yeah, me too.
I love how I mean. Usually, I would give an explanation as to why I'm picking, but I just don't have one right now for this match.
I mean,
I just don't.
It should be so obvious, and yet I don't trust WWE to not overthink it. So I'm going to go McIntyre because I'm pretty sure that's what they're just going to keep it there. But I'm also not going to be shocked if there's some sort of controversy or things. And I mean, not that it's a disrespect to Sheamus. He's in that position where it's clear that they wanted McIntyre and Lashley for a while now, and he's kind of been keeping it, beating the hell out of each other with those two guys, but always losing. So I don't think they would, but I also wouldn't put it past them just to try to be like, oh, you didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Braun Strowman against Shane McMahon. I think it's safe to say we're all going with Strowman here.
Yeah, I am.
Can I go with like a DQ or no? I don't know. I mean
I
you
guess.
assume they're going to have a rematch at WrestleMania, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're shooting for.
Oh,
well, I don't know. That's a long runway at WrestleMania. We already know how Shane gets winded getting to the ring just from a normal stage.
Maybe he could use some of that. Here comes the money to get a ride down the ramp or something.
They could do like those where we were at a couple of years ago. Just have a cart for him. He can ride.
As long as they don't show him on the camera.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Shane McMahon by shenanigans. That way, you set up Strowman in some sort of gimmick match at Mania, so he could actually beat him the right way.
Like some sort of like Hell in a Cell or Street Fight or something like that, kind of
So
thing.
Shane's gonna get something involved. He's gonna win, but by shenanigans. That's my thought.
Okay. And now a match that is probably going to cause a rift in my marriage. For those that know Tina and I, you know that we always have a fun family marriage rivalry between UTSA, where I went to school, and Texas State, where Tina went to school. And when the two teams are playing each other, and if we're not at the game, we're sitting on opposite sides of the living room, just kind of looking at each other and cheering, and it's always a fun thing. And when this match was announced, I was already envisioning, I'm going to be on this side of my Alexa Bliss t-shirt, and Tina's going to be on this side in her RKO out of nowhere t-shirt. And we're just going to be cheering for, our favorites and see how this plays out. So now, obviously, I'm picking Alexa. Tina's picking Randy. And you guys can make your picks, but are you surprised WWE has finally booked a intergender singles wrestling match at a pay-per-view for once?
Yes, because I did not think that was ever going to happen. And it's not like they can't have a fun match and nothing like that. I just know why they're doing this. It's kind of obvious. I think everyone sees it with the whole Fiend and everything. But then again, at this point, this is the right way to do it. Like, this is the day like this when I miss China. She was so great with these. Her, Jeff Jarrett, Jericho. So yeah. Honestly though, personally, I'm picking like a DQ or no contest type of finish because that's just how I see this going.
Okay.
I don't know if it really calls a rift in your marriage if the Fiend shows up. I don't know where that works for you too. So
I mean, that's possible. Setting up Fiend and Orton at Mania probably. So in another cinematic for all we know. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I don't think this is going to get to an actual match. I think this is going to be a cinematic thing. I think she's going to mess with him. I don't think they're going to really get into actual wrestling moves. Like, I know he's hit her with an RKO before, but I think she's just going to do mind game stuff. And I kind of agree with Tommy. Like, I think it's going to be some sort of no contest. I don't think there's actually going to be a winner here. I think it's going to be cinematic, probably obviously pre-taped then. And I mean, obviously I don't think anybody really wants some sort of long actual Randy Orton versus Alexa Bliss. They've done well with their characters. The Randy Orton, throwing up black stuff like the Ultimate Warrior versus Papa Shango. I don't think that really plays in 2021 very much. Like, I don't think anyone takes it too seriously. But I mean, obviously they're getting. I assume they're getting to Randy Orton and The Fiend for WrestleMania in another Firefly Funhouse match so we can go back through his career. I have this sad feeling that this might be like the veterans thing coming up where they get to have a Firefly Funhouse match and they can go back through the stages of their career and, we'll get Randy Orton looking like young with his hair.
That's funny.
If I oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, this was a bad joke, and I'm sorry I was going to make, but I was like, they're going to somehow relive him winning his title, but it's going to be against an anonymous.
Oh my God!
I know it's because that's the thing with him. When you tell his story, his first title was against Benoit, unfortunately.
Yep.
So you can't really show that footage like WWE never does.
Yeah,
they don't really talk about
or they always just mention the youngest champion at SummerSlam 2004, and then that's all they say.
Or they'll put some stunt double or something like that. Yeah. So. All right, that's gonna be interesting to watch, and if it all goes well, I think we do all want to see Xavier Woods against Mia Yim. He's been pushing for it on social media.
Yeah, that's a better match.
Yeah.
Now, if this gets us that, I'm down.
Yeah.
So.
All right, now on to 3 title matches that have been announced so far. Intercontinental Championship, Big E defending against Apollo Crews. Tommy, where are you going with this one?
I knew he was gonna start with me.
I'm just rotating around here.
Mm-hmm. Has no other reason. Nothing else to do with the people in the match or anything.
Not at all. Not at all.
I don't know, man. I would have said Apollo Crews until Big E's promo on SmackDown the other night, because, geez. Because, okay, so real quick before I make a pick, this is where I like Big E, because everyone said, oh, he should always be serious. I was like, no, he can be serious when he needs to be. And I think him being so silly and goofy all the other times, when he gets serious, that makes it that more impactful. If he's serious all the time, then it doesn't lose its edge, but you're like, oh, okay, yeah, he can be serious. Now he's actually pissed. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll say Big E, but I foresee something will happen that'll make him just want to get another rematch at Mania anyway, or unless like Sami Zayn or Baron Corbin jump into that fray again. But for now, I'll say Big E, and we'll just see what happens at Mania.
Have y'all watched his 24 on the network? Big E?
Not yet.
I've seen clips of it, but I haven't seen it yet.
But it's funny you said that, Tommy. That's what I was wondering, because he pretty much says the same thing. That he was tired of everyone telling him he has to be this specific type of bad guy or serious guy and all this. And they interview Mark Henry, and he says that Mark Henry, Mark admits that he told him, you have to be serious in this big thing. And then later in the interview, he pretty much apologizes. And Mark Henry's basically, I was wrong. He does what he does. And they even recounted how after they not broke up the New Day, but sent them to separate shows, that everyone was like, oh, this is the Big E single run, he's going to be serious, and the first thing he does is roll down the ramp. Or maybe that was the first, or I don't know, but like one of those first time, he's just rolling down the ramp, like just making a joke out of everything, and it's like that was just him. I'm going to go with Big E too. I think he's still in the beginning of his run, and I think it might set up, like usually happens with the Intercontinental title, some sort of multi-man match at Mania, which I think Apollo Crews will be a part of, and probably a few other people like Sami Zayn and maybe Nakamura, so he doesn't interrupt any other matches that are being set up. Talk about that later.
Clean sweep. I'm also going to go with Big E. I like this as champion. They really need to. If the singles run was always the plan, this is the time you need to build it up. So, yeah. But I think you keep the title. If you're gonna lose it, it'll be at Mania. So some bigger show. Women's Tag Team Championship: Nia Jax and Shayna versus Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair.
Okay.
Again. Why? What's the point?
The booking for this is so dumb.
I'm afraid of Sasha and Bianca possibly winning, and the fact that they're going to be facing each other at WrestleMania just makes it look dumb to me, So I'm going to pick Nia and Shayna at this point. I don't see a reason why you don't start teasing Sasha and Bianca not liking each other, not on the same page, and feuding going into WrestleMania, and that really kicking in high gear now. So I'll go with Nia and Shayna. Mike, your pick.
You know what? I'm going to stop fighting fate. I'm going to pick Sasha and Bianca.
Okay.
It's clearly what they want. It's clearly like there's like 6 stories they love to use over and over, and they're like, let's use that one. Just go with it. I'm going to pick them.
All right, and Tommy.
I'm with Mike. I can't. I'm going with Mike. Same thing, same reason.
All right.
It's nothing against a tag title. It's just this booking is so weird.
Yeah, makes no sense.
Yeah,
why are we repeating matches here? So
yeah, I've said all I can say. So yeah.
All right. Universal Championship: Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan, and either Edge or Jey Uso will be the special guest enforcer. I believe they're going to determine that this week or something.
Yeah.
SmackDown.
So they're really starting to build this up. I thought they were going to try and push for this with someone like Cesaro, get the fan organic reaction. It feels like they're trying to do this again with Daniel Bryan. Rumors are heavily abound that once his contract's up, he's done. And maybe they're trying to give him one potential longer title run. Having said that, I'm going to pick Roman Reigns only because I still think he's going to be champion going into Mania. But I think there'll be some shenanigans where Daniel Bryan somehow gets inserted into the match as a triple threat at Mania with Edge and Orton. And Edge obviously ain't going to be happy because it's blowing his title shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my thought is that Roman's going to win this one. Possibly not even clean. With the Enforcer being involved, it could potentially be Jey Uso. It's going to mess things up. So, Tommy, what's your pick here?
Yeah, Roman.
Right.
Maybe possibly do the shenanigans, and which, like you said, we'll get Daniel Bryan, in that match. I don't know. I mean, I think he still could. Also, I don't know if they just want to do something like just have straight up another match between Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan, which I think will be fun. Like I said, Jey Uso's stock has gone up since last year, so I don't know. But I'm picking Roman Reigns for this one. Yeah, I think they just want him as the champion going into Mania, regardless of what they do with it after that. So.
Okay. And Mike, what about you for this one?
So my thoughts are pretty similar along your lines, but with what they've done the last couple weeks, I think Edge is going to win the match this Friday for the special guest enforcer. I think Uso will come down and get involved, of course, and I think it's going to be one of those things where Edge cost Daniel Bryan the match accidentally. So I think it's going to look like he has a chance to beat Reigns because that's happened quite a few times, even in the KO matches. I think Reigns will wind up winning. I kind of agree with you of then that angles toward Daniel Bryan getting inserted. And I hate to say it this way, but it kind of leaves the door open at WrestleMania to give Edge a title win without having to straight beat Roman Reigns. So he kind of still gets his big moment because I think WrestleMania Night 2 lines up with when he retired, basically, or something along those lines, like to the day. So, that's kind of going down the road. But yeah, I agree. I think it's Roman Reigns, and I think Edge actually gets the special guest enforcer, but cost Daniel Bryan unintentionally.
Makes sense. That would make sense for them to be pulled into triple threat and see how they decide to book that. So. Well, those are our picks for FastLane. Whether or not we'll be watching, the verdict is out on that. We'll see. But I probably will just to see if Peacock has a better connection because, as we know, this is the phasing begins this Thursday, March 18th. WWE Network will launch on Peacock, and as we talked about last week, somewhat limited with the content, but the session will be there. FastLane, of course, will be the first WWE pay-per-view on Peacock, but will also be the last one on WWE Network as they do the transition. So, but what is the first show that's going to be Peacock exclusive? It's going to be night 2 of NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Before me,
do yourself a favor and just get Stardom World. I'm kidding.
Before we get the 2-night Mania, we're getting a 2-night TakeOver. This was rumored, but I wasn't sure how they would pull this off. So they're going to do a Wednesday and a Thursday night double show. Night 1 will be on USA Network. Night 2 will be on Peacock. And I think Stand and Deliver. I know Mike would appreciate this. I already think Edward James Olmos and Calculus. So it's going to be hard for me to not think about that when I'm watching this pay-per-view.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Classic movie. If you don't know that movie, it's just too young for you, bro, right?
Not to totally go on tangent, but in my head, I always mix up Stand and Deliver, Stand By Me, and what's the third one? What's the one with the River Phoenix and Jerry O'Connell? Lean on Me.
Lean on Me, yeah.
Yeah, I know they're like 3 completely different movies for the most part. Well, I guess Stand By Me and Stand and Deliver are somewhat similar, but yeah, those names always in my head get mixed up.
Yeah, so we'll see how well NXT does with this. I know the rumors heavily abound that they're going to potentially move NXT to Tuesdays after Mania. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but it could very easily happen within the next couple of weeks if that move is going to happen, as obviously they have to put out a huge press release and everything. So,
yeah.
But a 2-night TakeOver, I'm happy they're getting that. I'm just not happy it's in the middle of the week. I feel like that's something they could have done if they'd have planned it out better. You could have done it before Mania, in a weekend before Mania, but You know?
Yeah, but I think that's part of making up for what's usually a big week of WrestleMania stuff.
Yeah.
You know, obviously when we're allowed to have people in a big place, you know, you have access and you have all those kind of specials. So, you know, I agree, but I think it's really just to kind of get that usual WrestleMania week, like wrestling all, you know, all week long type thing. So.
All right, and an update on our Spring Madness tournament. Guys, we are down to the Elite Eight. And there were some pretty interesting results coming out in this voting. It's getting tougher now.
Resisting the urge to make an Elite Four Pokemon joke. And okay, go ahead.
The final 8 finishers, we started at 32, then we got the Sweet 17 because there was a triple threat in the second round after there was a tie. And now we're getting back to 8 here. First matchup, and the voting will start Thursday on this. RKO / Diamond Cutter against Sweet Chin Music.
Oof.
Next matchup is going to be the Vertebreaker / Gringo Killer against the Go to Sleep.
Oh.
Yeah. And then, fresh off an upset of the Styles Clash, the Tombstone Piledriver going up against the Stone Cold Stunner. And finally, the Shooting Star Press against the Eclipse / the O-Face, which just knocked off the Frog Splash. So
my bracket's still alive.
Yeah. Bracket's not busted, huh? You still got all your Final Four picks there?
All my Final Four still in there. Oh, no, you know what? That's not true.
What?
Well, because I'm a Sting mark, I picked Scorpion Deathlock to go to the Final Four. So GTS. I knew GTS would probably beat it, but
it was close. GTS got 58% of the vote, and when voting started, Sharpshooter had the lead early.
What one person out there? That's a one-person difference. 58%. One of you.
Who knows?
How dare you, viewers?
How dare you, viewers?
How dare you, viewers? Yeah, this was a pretty interesting vote. I mean, the first upset we got in the whole tournament was actually the Burning Hammer beating the Jackhammer. Just 2/3 of the votes went to the Burning Hammer beating Goldberg's Jackhammer. Yeah, I'm sure Tommy was happy about that. So
they were a bunch of marks. So
yeah, so that is our Elite Eight right now. That is our Elite Eight. We will start the voting for that, one matchup a day, starting on Thursday. When we get together next week, we will have a Final Four, and that'll be our final weekend as we go our semifinals. And then our championship. It might take a couple days to get all the votes for that.
Does the final take place at the Alamo Dome too, or?
I mean, it could. I mean, I don't know if they're going to use the whole dome or just half. Maybe we can do it on the other curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
What if we ask them if we can film in the dome? We just have to stay 6 feet apart. So Jason just in the middle. We can sit on either end of him, and we just have to yell, "What's up, heels and babyface?"
Or we could do it from the rafters, Sting style.
Sure.
That'd be the dream, right? So.
Or we can just bring all of our computer setups and just set in different places at the Alamo Dome and just still.
What are y'all doing here? Nothing?
I'll see if Mike and I could find our seats. We were at the 97 Royal Rumble on the floor there somewhere. Oh, this one might have been about the spot.
Right around this spot, right here.
Yeah.
I do laugh at the idea of security finding us. What are you doing here? Quick scatter! And none of us can scatter really.
That's to the Wi-Fi?
Yeah. This has been fun to do. I'm really enjoying it. I will say already, we're still in the middle of this. We're halfway through the Spring Madness tournament. I'm pretty sure we'll have a Fall Madness as well, dealing with tag team finishers. So stay tuned for that this fall. But be ready on Thursday for voting. Our Twitter account, CCG_WrestleCast. That's where you can vote. The polls will be out, and cast your vote. Pass it on.
Tommy, you just heard the WrestleCast, and you already started pointing down like it was.
Hey,
this is the
hey, Pavlovian, man. I tell you, Pavlovian.
I just thought I was like.
I'll decide if I want to put a graphic there so you don't look like a complete idiot. But yeah, that's fine. So.
I need help looking like a complete idiot. I could just fine by myself.
All right, with that, we'll move into our 1 minute warning segment. Mike, did you have something this week you want to talk about?
Yeah, I
figured you did. All right. Whenever you're ready, 3, 2, 1, and go.
So I was trying to think of the way to kind of put this all together, and it's just going to be a list of things that have been booked over the last couple of weeks that have just bugged me, mainly on WWE, of course. First of all, Billy Kay has not been on SmackDown the last 2 weeks. What the heck is up with that? Peyton Royce had that impassioned Raw Talk speech. Hasn't been on Raw yet. Cesaro and Seth seem to have the best build for a WrestleMania match yet. And then after Cesaro gets beat down by Seth, Seth runs into Nakamura. I like Nakamura, but don't mess up Seth versus Cesaro for WrestleMania, please. Okay? After feud, whatever. Don't mess this up. Last night, the New Day won, which is I'm not too upset with. I love the New Day. I can never not like them. But just to set up AJ Styles and Osmosis, that's what I'm calling him now, to get a tag match? Like, what? Like, why? I'm sure there's more things, but I'm gonna end there. Why?
Mike, I got to say, I'm very proud of you. One of my all-time favorite comedians is George Carlin, and he always had a segment, Things That Really Piss Me Off, and that was very reminiscent of that to me. So.
Yeah, like, sometimes it's like they don't know what they want to do, and they're just like, hey, this is something. And you're like, no, it's not.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Osmosis. I don't know what his real name is, but Osmosis sounds so much easier.
I mean,
yeah.
Look, at this point, we've had Pride and Prejudice. We've had Disruption.
Yes.
Now we've got Osmosis. My thing.
I like it. Because if it's not Osmosis, we could have called it Almost Park, right? Being from San Antonio.
I was trying not to think of that every time I call his name. Dang it. Now you...
All right, Tommy, do you have something this week?
Actually, I do not. This week.
Not? Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Was New Japan down this week, or what?
No, shut up. But I waited because I can't talk about the New Japan Cup right now because like I don't know what's happening, man. None of the picks I would have picked going to the finals are going. So I don't know what's happening anymore. I gotta wait till the finals get closer before I make any kind of say. So.
All right, well, it's funny that Mike talks about things that pissed him off this week. I have one thing that really kind of annoyed me, and I don't understand why they did it, and it's kind of a bittersweet thing, and that is the creation of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. We talked about this as far as why the women's tag team titles were made, and the point of it is obviously to build something up. We wanted women's tag teams. We had tag teams in NXT, Raw, SmackDown. We wondered if they had made these titles too early, but the fact that they were defending that on all 3 shows I thought was promising. But then it feels like, well, there's so many good tag teams on NXT, we'll give them their own title. I said no. You didn't do that because there's so many good tag teams. You did that because you didn't want all the NXT tag teams that are so much better than the current women's tag teams to be winning the titles and fans to be questioning why they haven't won those titles. And if your argument is because there aren't good women's tag teams in WWE right now, then why the hell did you break up the Iconics? Why the hell are you breaking up the true tag teams? Look, I'm not saying I'm not happy for Ember Moon. First one already to be a former NXT Women's Champion and NXT Women's Tag Team Champion. Her and Shotzi Blackheart won. But I hope these titles get unified with the WWE Women's Tag titles sooner rather than later, because I think any tag team in NXT right now could wipe up the floor with any women's tag team in WWE, unless the Iconics get back together. So
interesting.
Yeah,
I agree with the way you feel, but I actually like the titles because they were never going to give NXT its fair chance to get shots at the main belts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think they've been down like twice, maybe, for matches in NXT since they created them. Back to Bayley and Sasha.
I'm just afraid of them. I'm afraid of them oversaturating everything with more belts. You know, that was my thing.
Well,
you know,
I'll play devil's advocate there a little bit because you know WWE, because I had this discussion with somebody else. WWE is the one company I think where that's actually okay to have that many belts because they're supposed to have the talent to balance that out. Now, granted, they don't do that, but they should. But they're the one company I'm like, I'll let them have that pass because they do have the roster to balance out that many belts. They just don't use them, so that's the only problem. So
yeah. I mean, when the women's tag team belts were created for WWE as a whole, I thought it was too soon. I didn't think they had enough built up of true tag teams. And they, like I said, but they did what they did. It's fine. We're living with it. I will say, though, that winning the 24/7 title by trading your Stone Cold memorabilia, that's a new one. Congrats, R-Truth. That was hilarious. So you got to help Bad Bunny one way or another. So,
you got to get the belt off that guy before his next storyline, but...
Yeah, and Bad Bunny still looks good because he didn't take a pin to lose it. When you think about it.
But hey, Archer did the right thing. What did the Avengers say? By any means necessary.
Oh, I forgot one more thing that upsets me, and I'm just gonna throw it in real quick.
Go for it.
Why is the best women's storyline right now Reginald? What is that?
Yes,
like
exactly.
He's in the middle of everything, and
I 100% agree because I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with literally anything going on? Like, we're coming to WrestleMania. Why is this I would get this more if this was after WrestleMania. Honestly, that would make more sense. But this is WrestleMania, dude. It's like, what is going on?
And it was supposed to make Carmella look like part of her rich, fancy kind of, that character Vince always wants. And then they just threw like Carmella to the side, and she's never on anymore.
No, we're gonna have this guy wrestle women and actually get pinfalls over him. Like,
and
I can understand if you're throwing him in there.
I like New Japan booking more.
Yeah, and I mean, I could have understood if you throw him in as a lackey and he gets beat down, like any over the manager.
Right.
But instead, you're putting him over one half of your tag team champions. It didn't make sense.
And this also goes to, like, I consider unfair treatment to Carmella because what did she ever do to anybody? Because they always saddle her with something like this between
Exceed
him.
her expectations.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I just don't like the treatment of people like her, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce. So many who clearly they do the R-Truth thing. You give them something that they may or may not even want to do, but they can still run with it. I mean, God knows R-Truth turned the 24/7 belt into pure gold. No one cared about that belt until R-Truth just took that ball and ran with it. Carmella, they had the Staten Island chick gimmick that she ran with. They gave her this glamour gimmick, which worked well for her. Billie Kay is hilarious with this thing. Peyton Royce gave that great promo, which they should have done more with, and I still hope they do. But it's like, these are people who can take... You pray for people like this on your roster. You pray for people like this who can do like this kind of thing, who could take this thing that you just kind of like weren't sure about, then they run with it. So what's the problem? I don't get this.
I agree with you. And JC, write this down somewhere. One of these weeks, obviously not leading up to... No, I'm serious about this. Not leading up to WrestleMania, but one of those weeks where we don't have a lot on the agenda. We need to have a discussion of why it seems like WWE can't build stars like it used to anymore.
Can't or won't.
Okay, that's exactly part of the discussion.
I'd say both.
Because in all seriousness, they've got this thing, and I mean, it's WrestleMania, and I saw an article about, there may be no Lesnar, no Undertaker, no Goldberg, we're not going to have the big stars. And I'm like, you mean the guys you pay the big money to come in once a year because you haven't allowed these other guys to grow into those kind of things? I mean, I think it's really worth talking about with what they've done pretty much since Cena. I mean,
yeah.
My
one argument, my one thing about that is, barring the Undertaker, you've done plenty of WrestleManias without Lesnar and Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we need... I don't know why Vince is convinced that he needs them there. Like, I mean, come on. WrestleMania have thrived just fine without Lesnar and Goldberg. And, Undertaker's great. He's a WrestleMania mainstay. But if he's done, man, he's done. He's done enough. Let the guy...
The other thing, yeah. Those guys are starting to get old. Like, all the Attitude Era guys are getting real old now. You can't keep bringing them back out to save your show and get some ratings. So I don't know.
Who knows? You got to stop investing money in them too, and invest money in your talent as well. So that's another discussion we'll have. That's a good topic to have. Maybe we'll put that together. Might even go along with our debate from the latest PWI. Return of the Supercards was the title of it. So they do an in-depth look at Wrestle Kingdom, New Year's Smash, and Royal Rumble. But then they update what they consider their world title status and their criteria for it. And there's a lot more titles now starting this year that are going to get world title status in PWI. So that may be worth checking out as well. So
RCW world title. Shout out to Brendan.
Yeah. So that may be something we discuss a little bit later on, possibly post FastLane, as part of Leap to WrestleMania. We'll see. So as for FastLane, it is this Sunday, March 21st, 6 p.m. Central Time. That's Central Daylight Time. There's a time change if you guys don't know. I know, especially in Arizona where they don't observe it, so they're kind of
they don't even do it.
Yeah. It'll be at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and it is going to be simulcast on the WWE Network and Peacock. So, if you're signed up for Peacock now, remember they are doing the deal where you can get 4 months free if you pay that up front. And honestly, it's already a better deal if you buy the annual anyway, because you're going to save on 2 months worth of the cost. So whether you get the ads or ad-free version. And so you can decide if you want to watch on WWE Network before it closes up shop on April 4th for good in the US, or switch to Peacock, or watch both. Who knows? Why not, right? You got 2 TVs, just show it off. See which stream you like better, My hope is that Peacock has better connection issues on a Roku than WWE Network has. So since
Peacock is NBC, can we get some of the Sunday Night Football guys in to analyze it, or
that could be fun.
Okay, that might make it worth it.
Yeah,
I mean, they did a little bit of those joke things with Fox when SmackDown first went over there. That'd be kind of fun with the Sunday night ones.
So, do you think instead of the opening promo intro that WWE does, we're going to get Carrie Underwood singing "I've been waiting all day for Sunday night"? If that happens, I mean,
yes.
I think that'd be more entertaining.
That might be one of the best pay-per-view intros in a while.
That might make all this worth it. I stress the word might, but it might.
I'm looking forward to it. I think from a monetary standpoint, it's made pay-per-views get cheaper and cheaper. Yeah. I mean, we were hyped for WWE Network when it first launched years ago. It's crazy how long ago that was.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember what the first pay-per-view really was? On
Block, or wasn't it that one in between?
No.
What was it?
I
can't remember.
It was NXT TakeOver Arrival.
Huh.
Oh!
Yeah. And the opening match, the first live match, was Cesaro versus Sami Zayn. And that match alone was the reason why you knew you were spending your money on something good.
Yeah. Well, of course. It was NXT.
Seriously.
All right, Twitter account for us at @CCG_WrestleCast. Shout out to the Geeks YouTube channel. Let us know your thoughts on Sacrifice. Let us know your thoughts on FastLane.
Sacrifice.
And
Every
where you
time you do that, it gets stuck in my head for the rest of the night.
Next week, we are going to recap FastLane and see where the road to WrestleMania takes us. And we'll give you a little update on the Spring Madness tournament. We'll have a Final Four by then. So again, be sure to stay tuned to our Twitter account to vote for the Elite Eight matchups that are going to be coming up this weekend. So starting on Thursday. Thank you again, everyone. This was fun. Glad to have you guys as always. So want to send a belated happy birthday to Tez. In spirit, we love you. Wish we could be celebrating with you. But we love you so much, and I think we're going to be looking forward to your birthday every year. And I will say at this point now, it's been a few months since he passed, but I think when his birthday comes around, I'm not going to remember how he passed. I'm going to enjoy the memories and how he lived, always with a smile on his face. And I still miss him dearly, but I know he'd have a lot to say about the state of wrestling right now. I just wish we could hear it. So
I would have loved to hear his take on the barbed wire match, because I think he would have sighed deeply and then fell out laughing, like just in that order exactly.
Yeah, I can hear his laugh about it. That's what.
Yeah,
that's what
me too.
Over here we got Tommy.
It's guys.
We got Mike.
Thanks, guys. Be good to each other.
And I'm JC. And as always, heels and baby faces, remember, pro wrestling is real.
People are fake.
Yeah.
Hey yo, subscribe to the channel by clicking right here. Or, if you want to watch more videos, click right here!